In Shi'a Islam, Taqiyya, Taqiyya/Taqiya, is a form of religious lie, or a legal dispensation whereby a believing individual can deny his faith or commit otherwise illegal or blasphemous acts, especially while they are in fear or at risk of significant persecution. A similar concept in Sunni Islam is known as idtirar, coercion. A related concept is known as kitman, concealment, dissimulation by omission. Also related is the concept of ḥiyal, legalistic deception practiced not necessarily in a religious context but to gain political or legalistic advantage. This practice was emphasized in Shi'a Islam, whereby adherents may conceal their religion when they are under threat, persecution, or compulsion. Taqiyya was developed to protect Shi'ites who were usually in minority and under pressure, and Shi'a Muslims as the persecuted minority have taken recourse to dissimulation from the time of the mihna, persecution, under al-Ma'mun in the 9th century, while the politically dominant Sunnites rarely found it necessary to resort to dissimulation. In Sunni jurisprudence, denying faith under duress or other permissible reasons as per Islamic law is viewed only at most permitted and not under all circumstances obligatory. However, there are many examples of practicing taqiyya among Sunnis where it was necessary. In the Shi'a view, taqiyya is lawful in situations where there is overwhelming danger of loss of life or property and where no danger to religion would occur thereby. Taqiyya has also been legitimized, particularly among 12er Shi'a, in order to maintain Muslim unity and fraternity. The term taqiyya, Arabic, taqiyya/taqiyyah, is derived from the Arabic triliteral root wa with makron wqa with makron fya with makron, denoting fear, or prudence, guarding against, a danger. Term taqwa, piety, lit. Fear of God, is from the same root. The term is derived from the Quranic reference to religious dissimulation in Surah 3:28. Let not the believers take the unbelievers for friends rather than believers, and whoever does this, he shall have nothing of the guardianship of Allah, but you should guard yourselves against them, guarding carefully, ilan tatak minhum tuqt. The two words tatak, you fear, and tuqt in fear are derived from this root, and the abstract noun taqiyya refers to the general principle connected with the situation described here, first recorded in a Quranic gloss by al-Bukhari, 9th century. Regarding 328, Ibn Kathir writes, meaning, except those believers who in some areas or times fear for their safety from the disbelievers. In this case, such believers are allowed to show friendship to the disbelievers outwardly, but never inwardly. He quotes Muhammad's companion, Abu ad-Darda, who said, "We smile in the face of some people although our hearts curse them," and al-Hasan, who said, "The Taqiyya is acceptable till the day of resurrection." A similar instance of the Quran permitting dissimulation under compulsion is found in Surah 16:106. Sunni and Shi'a commentators alike observe that verse 16:106 refers to the case of Amr b. Yasir, who was forced to renounce his beliefs under physical duress and torture. The term for the related concept of kitman, secrecy, concealment, is derived from a root ka with makron fta with makron conceal. The two terms taqiyya and kitman may be used synonymously, although the former has the more inclusive meaning of dissimulation in general, while the later refers to the concealment of one's convictions by silence or omission. Shi'a Islam view. 12er Shi'a view. The doctrine of taqiyya was developed at the time of Ja'far al-Sadiq, d. 148/765 AD, the 6th Imamiyya Imam. It served to protect Shi'ites when al-Mansur, the Abbasid Caliph, conducted a brutal and oppressive campaign against Alids and their supporters. Religious dissimulation or taqiyya while maintaining mental reservation is considered lawful in Shi'ism in situations where there is overwhelming danger of loss of life or property and where no danger to religion would occur thereby. Shi'as lived mostly as a minority among a frequently hostile Sunni majority until the rise of Safavid dynasty. This condition made taqiyya doctrine important to Shi'as. Taqiyya holds a central place in 12er Shi'a Islam. This is sometimes explained by the minority position Shi'ites had under the political dominance of Sunni Muslims, requiring them to protect themselves through concealment and dissimulation. In Shi'a legal literature, there is a range of situations in which taqiyya may be used or even required. For Shi'a Muslims, taqiyya is to conceal their association with their faith when revealing it would result in danger. Taqiyya is done for reasons of safety. For example, a person may fear that he might be killed or harmed if he does not observe taqiyya. In this case, taqiyya is allowed. However, in some circumstances taqiyya may lead to the death of an innocent person. If so, it is not permissible, it is haram, forbidden, to kill a human being to save one's own life. Some Shi'ites, though, advance taqiyya as a form of jihad, a sort of fighting against their adversaries. Others relate it to the esoteric nature of early Shi'a Islam. The knowledge, ilm, given to the imams by God had to be protected, and the truth would have to be hidden before the uninitiated or their adversaries until the coming of the 12th Imam, when this knowledge and ultimate meaning can become known to everyone. Religious rulings of the Shi'a imams was also influenced by taqiyya. Without it, basic articles of early Shi'ism do not make sense and lose coherence because of contradictions. Some of the traditions from the imams make taqiyya a central element of Shi'ism. He who has no taqiyya has no faith. He who forsakes taqiyya is like him who forsakes prayer. Taqiyya is the believer's shield, but for taqiyya, God would not have been worshipped. It is unclear whether those traditions only refer to taqiyya under risk or also taqiyya to conceal the esoteric doctrines of Shi'ism. Many Shi'ites today deny that taqiyya has any significance in their religion. For the Ismailis, in the aftermath of the Mongol onslaught of the Elamite state in 1256 CE, the need to practice taqiyya became necessary, not only for the protection of the community itself, which was now stateless, but also for safeguarding the line of the Nizari Ismaili imamate during this period of unrest. Accordingly, the Shi'a Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq stated, "Taqiyya is my religion and the religion of my ancestors," a tradition recorded in various sources including Kitb al-Masan of Ahmad b. Muhammad al-Barq and the Da'a with Makron Im al-Islam of al-Qa with Makron al-Nu'ama with Makron n. Such periods in which the imams are concealed are known as Satr. However, the term may also refer to times when the imams were not physically hidden from view but rather when the community was required to practice precautionary dissimulation. During Satr, the imam could only be accessed by his community and in extremely dangerous circumstances, would be accessible only to the highest-ranking members of the Ismaili hierarchy, whose function it was to transmit the teachings of the imam to the community. According to Shi'a scholar Muhammad Hussain Javari Sabinal, Shi'ism would not have spread at all if not for taqiyya, referring to instances where Shi'a have been ruthlessly persecuted by the Sunni political elite during the Umayyad and Abbasid empires. Indeed, for the Ismailis, the persistence and prosperity of the community today owes largely to the careful safeguarding of the beliefs and teachings of the imams during the Ilkhanate, the Safavid dynasty, and other periods of persecution. Alawite view. Alawites' beliefs have never been confirmed by their modern religious authorities. Alawites tend to conceal their beliefs, taqiyya, due to historical persecution. Some tenets of the faith are secret, known only to a select few, therefore, they have been described as a mystical sect. Alawites do only celebrate Islamic festivals, their most important feast is Eid al-Ghadir. Druze view. Because of the Druzes' Ismaili Shiite origin, they have also been associated with taqiyya. When the Druze were a minority being persecuted, they took the appearance of another religion externally, usually the ruling religion in the area, and for the most part adhered to Muslim customs by this practice. Sunni Islam view. Sunnis believe that it is allowed to deny faith under compulsion, threat, and fear of death, as long as the heart remains firm in faith. Sunni jurisprudence does not use the term taqiyya, yet it is de facto practiced as such according to Islamic law against sinners. Protecting one's belief during extreme or exigent circumstances is called idtirar, which translates to being forced or being coerced, and this word is not specific to concealing the faith. For example, under the jurisprudence of idtirar, one is allowed to consume prohibited or haram food to protect one's life, e.g. starving to death. Some Sunnis also disagree with some of the Shi'a's view of taqiyya. Additionally, denying one's faith under duress is only at most permitted and not under all circumstances obligatory. Al-Tabari comments on Surah 16, verse 106, Tafsir, Bulaq 1323, XXIV, 122. If anyone is compelled and professes unbelief with his tongue, while his heart contradicts him, in order to escape his enemies, no blame falls on him, because God takes his servants as their hearts believe. This verse was recorded after Amr Yasir was forced by the idolaters of Mecca to recant his faith and denounce the Islamic prophet Muhammad. Al-Tabari explains that concealing one's faith is only justified if the person is in mortal danger, and even then martyrdom is considered a noble alternative. If threatened, it would be preferable for a Muslim to migrate to a more peaceful place where a person may practice their faith openly, since God's earth is wide. In Hadith, in the Sunni commentary of Sahih al-Bukhari, known as the Fath al-Bari, it is stated that, which translates to, there is a consensus that whomsoever is forced into apostasy and chooses death has a greater reward than a person who takes the license to deny one's faith under duress, but if a person is being forced to eat pork or drink wine, then they should do that instead of choosing death. Examples: when Ma'mun became caliph, 813 AD, he tried to impose his religious views on the status of the Quran over all his subjects, in an ordeal called the mihna, or Inquisition. His views were disputed, and many of those who refused to follow his views were imprisoned, tortured, or threatened with the sword. Some Sunni scholars chose to affirm Ma'mun's view that the Quran was created, in spite of their beliefs, though a notable exception to this was noted scholar and theologian Ahmad ibn Hanbal. In 16th century Spain, following the end of the Reconquista of the Iberian Peninsula in 1492, Muslims and Jews were persecuted by the Catholic monarchs and forced to convert to Christianity or face expulsion. The principle of Taqiyya became very important for Muslims during the Inquisition in 16th century Spain, as it allowed them to convert to Christianity while remaining crypto-Muslims, practicing Islam in secret. In 1504, Ubayd Allah al-Warani, a Maliki mufti in Oran, issued a fatwa allowing Muslims to make extensive use of Taqiyya in order to maintain their faith. This is seen as an exceptional case, since Islamic law prohibits conversion except in cases of mortal danger, and even then requires recantation as quickly as possible, and al-Warani's reasoning diverged from that of the majority of earlier Maliki facts. Contemporary debate. In 2004, Lebanese Druze scholar Sami Makarem published the monograph Al-Taqiyya fi al-Islam, Dissimulation in Islam, arguing that the concept should be considered mainstream and ubiquitous in modern Islamic politics. Taqiyya is of fundamental importance in Islam. Practically every Islamic sect agrees to it and practices it. We can go so far as to say that the practice of Taqiyya is mainstream in Islam, and that those few sects not practicing it diverge from the mainstream. Taqiyya is very prevalent in Islamic politics, especially in the modern era. P7, Trans. Raymond Ibrahim. Since the 2000s, Taqiyya has become a frequently invoked concept in debates surrounding criticism of Islam and especially Islamic extremism. Islamic scholars tend to emphasize that Taqiyya is only permissible under duress, and that the inflationary use of the term qualifies as a staple of right-wing Islamophobia in North America. Mohammed Fadl 2013, or Taqiyya libel against Muslims while their critics accuse them of practicing Taqiyya. About Taqiyya, Raymond Ibrahim, 2014.